Any more questions from the media? Please step up to the microphone. Yes.
Ringo, you've obviously got a great relationship with your fans, both from your time as a Beatle and all the bands since then. Are you now finding time to sign all your fan mail that you're getting?
You know, I don't sign anymore. It was on CNN and the BBC.
Have you changed your mind at all?
Yeah, that's from The Simpsons where I was signing it all. So I finally finished and I don't do it anymore. Okay.
Another question from the floor?
I'm Thorsten from German Radio, and you will be playing on your tour in Hamburg in July.
My birthday.
Your birthday?
In Hamburg, brother.
Oh, that must be a big party afterwards.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to go mad. Water for everybody.
Okay, my question is regarding Hamburg. Do you still have memories on the time playing in the Star Club with the Beatles?
I do, but I also have memories of playing with Rory Storm and the Hurricanes and with Tony Sheridan. You know, how great was that? I was a young boy, really, and we're in Hamburg, craziest city on the planet. And, you know, I think we all got our act together in Germany because we played very long hours. So I have a lot of great memories of Hamburg. And when we first went there, it was great because Kashmir, who ran the Kaiserkeller, offered us to live in a room behind the club. And we said, no, we've got suits. So we need a hotel or something. Anyway, we all lived in the German Siemens mission, but it was a lot better than the back of the club. Okay. Looking forward to seeing you, brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. We have another online question submitted through the Ethernet from muzu.tv. Gary, this is a question for Dreamweaver. Was sung on Glee, the well-known American kids dancing around program. How does it feel to have your music introduced to a new generation?
Oh, it's great. I've been fortunate in so much that Dreamweaver has been used in several big films, The People vs. Larry Flint, Toy Story 3, Wayne's World. So it keeps perpetuating the song to newer generations, and that's great. I feel very flattered.
Ringo, would you ever appear on Glee? Sorry? Would you ever appear on Glee?
Well, let's see what the script's about. Yeah, fine. I have no problem with any of that.
Excellent. You know? I think you'd be a good character on it.
Well, I think you'd be great.
Yeah. Another question from the floor. Yes, you have your hand up in the air. Stand up in the air and ask your question.
Hello, my name is Klaus from Vienna, Austria. I don't know if you know there is a book existing in Austria, Servus Beatles, which is Austrian for Hello Beatles, and it just deals with the time where the Beatles shot a film in Austria and you went skiing.
Yeah.
What are your memories about this?
Well, the memory about the skiing is none of us could ski. But it was a movie, so they just put us on skis and pushed us off a low hill, which at the time felt like Everest. And if you watch the film, you'll notice as we're going downhill, I tend to turn around. And I went down backwards. I don't know how you stopped or anything. So there was that, and yeah, we had a nice time, you know. It was very snowy.
Mm. That's just one second question. There is a song called Good Night Vienna. Is it true that it's got nothing to do with Vienna?
Oh, it's everything to do with Vienna while we're heading that way. It's actually an expression of it's all down to Good Night Vienna, like let it go, you know. I don't know where that expression came from, and it was something I thought, how great, down to Good Night Vienna, and we call the album that, you know. Yeah.
So thank you very much. See you in Vienna or in Salzburg.
Okay, I'll be there.
Another question from the floor, please.
Thomas Kvarnkallen, Swedish Daily Expressen. What are your expectations for the concerts in Sweden, and how do you relate to Swedish music?
You mean folk music?
You can choose.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of stuff coming out of Sweden now, a lot of DJs, a lot of producers, and some bands coming out. I couldn't name one of them. You know, the lifesaver for me all the time is when, you know, people say, oh, look where music's going, but there's always bands coming out of somewhere. You know, they're coming out of England, new bands. They're coming out of Sweden, new bands. And, you know, all over the world. So as long as the music keeps going round and around, it's, you know, that's good for me. But I couldn't honestly say, well, what about these people in Sweden? But I know at the gig we're going to have fun.
How can you be so sure about that?
I promise you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If they're all dressed like you, I promise you.
We are running out of time. We've got time for one more question from the floor, or two very short ones instead of one long one. Take your pick. Quick, go.
Andrea Franchi from Corriere della Sera, Italy. Next year, everybody in the world is going to celebrate the 50th anniversary from the debut of the Beatles. Could you imagine that back in 1962? And how are you going to celebrate this from a private point of view?
Well, I think I've got enough birthdays to celebrate. I have nothing special planned, and at the time, who knew? You know, we didn't know. We were just lads making music in Liverpool, a place I love. And, you know, it got bigger and bigger. We had to go to Sweden, and we had to go to Denmark, and we had to go to Italy to get known. It wasn't like instant in those days. You know, we used to go on the Mayflower. It took ages. And, you know, that's how it was. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, we were lads doing what we loved to do. And they're the memories I love. You know, I suddenly had 3 brothers, and we were making great music.
Okay, we've got a question now. I think we're going to have to wrap it up any second now. A question from Muzu TV, /Ringo Starr, again. Question for Ringo. What's your favourite of your solo records, and when will you start work on a new album?
I finished the new album, Answering in Reverse. I finished it 5 weeks ago. I recorded it in LA, and I mixed it here in England. And I think, you know, always the last one is your favourite. But you have to go back, you know, to the first one that was a huge hit, and that was the Ringo album. And so, you know, I do love that because that started the ball rolling. And, you know, I just feel blessed that it's a long time ago since I started, and I'm still doing it because I can. Lady.
Hello, I'm Mariana, and I represent Russian weekly Argument and Fact, equivalent of the Time. And I've got 2 questions. It's always very interesting to see the new arrangements of the songs, and with Vanessa Paradis we've seen A Night in Versailles, or with Sting taking his symphony test to Moscow. I'm wondering whether you are thinking of sort of coming up with a new life for your compositions in different sort of symphonic arrangements. Oh.
Say it again.
Okay, whether your music might be sometimes heard in sort of symphonic
I see what you're saying now, yeah. Yeah, why not? I mean, you know, it's been done several ways. So I have no problem with the music being done in a symphonic way.
Are you thinking of doing this with
I
your
won't
music?
be doing it, personally, no.
Okay. And the other part of the question, going to Russia, for example, do you take some inspirations for you which particularly sort of come back?
Well, I was in Russia last time. We played Europe, and I had a great time. And I took all my children, and we went on, we were like tourists. We went into the Kremlin, down below, and St. Petersburg was great.
Yes,
and we had a really good time, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Good, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've also got another question here from Muzu.tv. Edgar, at the back. Legend. Good to meet you, man. Edgar, you've been involved in many musical projects and bands. What are you looking forward to working with these musicians?
Well, it's a great honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to work with Ringo, who I think is a truly great musician. And you might ask, well, what does that really mean? I think it is originality, having a distinctive style, and being able to communicate that emotionally. And it's, as I said, it's just an indescribable, magical experience to be up here with Ringo and all of these great musicians. You know, this is sort of like the ultimate garage band, except we're in an airplane hangar, as you can see. But it's all rock and roll, and we love it.
And just a couple more questions for Ringo. One, have you got a backup career planned if this whole music thing doesn't work out for you?
I'm going into pantomime.
And the very last, which one?
Anyone you've got.
Final question, Ringo, have you got a last message for your fans here and your fans watching online?
Yeah, I have, you know, it's so great. I get the privilege to play with these players, all incredible artists in their own right. And we put this together in the summer and we work for each other. You know, we support each other to the best of our abilities. And it's just incredible. But what is incredible also is that, you know, I'm still playing. We're all still out there doing what we do. And, you know, that's a privilege and a pleasure. Prague? Peace and love, Prague.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ringo Starr and his all-star band. Greg, Rick, Richard, Wally, Edgar, Gary and Ringo. If you could just come to the front of the stage.
All right, listen, I want to thank you all for coming. I know some of you came a long distance, but I hope it was worth it. Peace and love.